welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18-hour special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. This is the only daily MSME platform in the country, a show where you can voice your concerns and get answers to all your queries directly from our team of experts. We understand the issues that you, the MSME entrepreneur, face, and the show aims to bring you the most relevant and the most updated information on everything related to your businesses. On our Insights segment today, I'll bring you a chat with jeevansathi.com. On our Bright Sparks segment tonight, we're featuring DK Creations and Wedred. Jeevan Sathi, your life partner, is literally just that, a website that helps you find your life partner. This online marriage portal, which has been in existence for almost a decade now, is looking to change the way that people approach finding a life partner with innovative advertising and communication. To talk to me about this market and tips for entrepreneurs in this space, I'm being joined by Rohan Mathur. He's the Senior Vice President at jeevansathi.com. Thanks very much for speaking with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, Rohan. Let's start by asking you to, very briefly talk to our viewers about Jeevan Sathi.
Jeevan Sathi is a portal, as many of you already know, is for people, young people to get married, find their life partners, for parents to find life partners for their children. And it's been a platform which has been around for quite some time, actually. And we've been doing well, and we're a strong player in the North community, in Hindi community, in communities in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and many other South Indian communities as well. And we've done well in the last couple of years. We've scaled well, and now we are on threshold with mobile internet coming in the picture to scale even further and grow faster than we've done.
All right, since we're doing this wedding special, maybe I should ask you to describe for our viewers what, in your opinion, really is the size of the wedding market.
See, the wedding market is divided into two parts. One is the wedding organization market, where people find bandwalas, bridegroom, fashion accessories, photography, videography. So that is the weddings market, which is a much bigger market. Jeevan Sathi and others of our kind are into matchmaking, and this market is slightly smaller, but we estimate it to be around 1,000 crores, including all small unorganized players. But the three large players in the space account for around 500-600 crores.
Jeevan Sathi has been in existence for well over a decade now. What has been some of the highlights, and what learnings can you, so what have been some of your biggest learnings really?
So Jeevan Sathi has been around for a decade, actually 12 years now. And what I see happening over these years is that initially there was a phase of internet growth which was driven by desktops initially. And since the time I joined in 2011, I've seen a lot of growth on the mobile. And our learning has been that we have what we've seen over the last 2-3 years, especially, is the fact that you have to be very, very good on the mobile, and you have to understand that not everything can be done on the mobile. So it has to be done extremely optimized to the real estate that the mobile screen provides you, to make sure that the consumers don't ever feel that they have an inferior product than they would have if they were accessing from the desktop. So that is what I think has worked for us. If you look at our app ratings across Play Store and App Store, they're the best in the category. And I think that mobile play is something which has really worked for Jeevan Sathi. One. The second, of course, is, as I told you, we have worked a lot on improving our efficiencies as a business. Our sales team is one of the most efficient. It's a small team relatively, and so we've been able to achieve revenues per salesperson which are much higher than what is prevalent in the industry today. So I think these are two things that we've done really, really well in the last 3-4 years, which has helped us grow Jeevan Sathi at a much faster clip than the industry today.
Okay, I want to talk about what we see Jeevan Sathi possibly doing differently, and I want your insights on that. I noticed that you're going quite aggressively after television advertising. Have you changed maybe the kind of communication that you're doing as far as your target audience is concerned? If yes, why the change, and what can you really leave our viewers with?
So, you're right. So we have kind of changed the TV commercial as well. If you noticed, earlier this year we launched a new TV campaign which was directed towards individuals themselves. So there has been some, so we've always been on television. We think it's a long-term investment, and it helps us build the brand in the communities that we target, and we are a strong player in. What we've done in terms of change is the fact that our earlier commercials were targeted towards parents, because that was a market which was very largely driven by parents. It still is. Matrimony is a decision which is made as a family in India today. And probably will continue to be so in the next 15-20 years. What we've seen is in the last few years an evolution where the individual themselves are also more involved in the whole decision making process. And what we've also observed is the fact that whenever they have been more involved, our product and our platforms have delivered better results for them. And so our commercials are now also trying to tell the user that that we are made for you, and we are contemporary, and we are pretty much trying to get everything on the platform which you need to find life partner in the most comfortable and efficient way possible. And I think that is the big change that has been made in the strategy. But in terms of investments, we will keep on investing in marketing, especially TV advertising, because I think that's a long-term investment in a brand.
Okay, I want to talk about the industry in India as far as the wedding market goes and how fragmented that is, particularly because at the lower end of the chain, there is a lot of the unorganized industry. Using your own company as an example, can you talk to our viewers about what in your mind are possibly the one or two things that they should necessarily do to be able to stand out from their peers?
So I think you're right. So matrimony as a category is very, very unorganized. If you see, I think online matrimony, 3-4 large players contribute to only 5% of matches that happen in India today, and a large percentage is through marriage bureaus or smaller sites which have small community bases in local regions. I think what internet affords and provides these platforms with is scale, and an internet platform which has scale, which has ability to connect people across the country and even across the world, they will always score. So I think internet platforms give you that flexibility to be able to do that, and it is important that that is kept in mind when we build up platforms, because scale is going to give you the differentiation which is going to help you succeed over smaller regional players which can't get that kind of scale in the platforms.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll feature two companies on our Bright Spark segment tonight, DK Creations and Wedred. Back with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight I'm featuring two companies on our Bright Spark segment, DK Creations and Wedred. With the marriage season on in full swing, wedding cake creators and designers are all vying for the business of happy couples, and one such custom cake designer is Mumbai-based DK Creations. Pooja Jain attended a DK Creations workshop herself to indulge in the baking of a wedding cake in the making. Here are some lessons learned on how prioritizing innovation in an inundated industry can help win over both clients as well as the competition.
DK Creations is the shining example of a leisure pursuit having blossomed into a business. The company's designer wedding cakes are widely celebrated for their taste, and yet at the same time often considered too pretty to cut. Founder Rinku Gokarn shared some of her insights on how pushing the envelope with custom recipes and cutting-edge decorative techniques can serve as icing on the cake.
How did you get your start as a wedding cake designer and decorator? And was there perhaps a single moment where it dawned on you that you had the momentum to pursue this professionally?
I'm an interior designer by profession, but when my son was born, just taking care of him was my main focus. But baking cake was a hobby, and I started baking for him. And one of my friend gave me an opportunity to do a cake for her. That is how, I got into designing wedding cake. But before taking her order, it was, I wanted to, get it technically right, and learned the techniques of how the wedding cakes are to be done, because it's not a single tier, single round cake. It's a tiered cake. So tiered cake is stacking of the cake, then decorating the cake, even the flavors which goes into it. So all those things you should know before taking the responsibility of, taking a wedding cake.
Weddings are of course incredibly personal by nature, and therefore so are wedding cakes. So how do you keep the pool of ideas fresh when it comes to the combinations and permutations of frosting, filling, flavor, so on and so forth?
My clients come with a lot of ideas because they know what they want. My main USP is not to repeat my designs, but I try to give something different. For that something different, I have to keep on learning. So learning happens when I do a lot of practice, I do a lot of research, or I get trained from someone. Both the things go hand in hand, like taste as well as the look of the cake. When the client comes for meeting, the sketches are done, their inputs are taken, but I need to put it on the paper and show it to them that what they are thinking, this is what I can give you. And I always try to give more to the client so that they are happy, because when wedding is once, it's not going to be again and again.
Walk us through the more technical aspects of wedding cake decoration and design. How do these incredibly detailed but delicious themed and tiered cakes come to life?
So while baking, you have to be very precise with your ingredients, the product which is going into it. We in our kitchen, we use all fresh products, no preservatives, then no pre-mix. Everything is made from scratch. That is our policy. Each tier we try to have different techniques, like we try to use sugar veil, we'll use onlays, we use stencil work, sometimes we do painting on it. We Indians like gold, so wedding cake, I have done, I think 85% of my all cakes have gold touch to it. Then we do flowers. The flowers are more realistic. So each petal is being cut and it's been wired, and then dusting is done on it and then assembled. So all these things need a lot of technique. That is what keeps me being par to the market, and I'm able to give my client something new.
Has the industry experienced a wave of innovation at all? And how important is it to upgrade your skill set to stay competitive in this business?
Upgrading skill is very important. You can't say now I know everything. Recently I had done a chandelier cake. So that was, the client came and she told me, Rinku, I want something different. And she was the one who, showed me the picture, and I told, why not, we can do it. So that was something new which was introduced by us.
Beyond the professional sense of accomplishment, what sort of personal satisfaction comes with the job?
Professional satisfaction is when my clients suggest other clients. Like my 85% of my clients are the one who do recommend me to their friends and relatives. That is how my business has grown. And I have never done any kind of advertisement or any kind of branding till now. It's just by word of mouth. That is how it is spread.
A local company adopting global best practices, DK Creations is well poised for expansion, growing organically in the face of rising customer demand. Parked at the intersection of passion and purpose, DK Creations is bringing brides and grooms all over, one step closer to marital bliss.
An all-out Punjabi wedding, a serene South Indian wedding, or a beautiful Bengali one, each Indian wedding is a spectacle of sorts, making sure every memorable moment is captured while changing really the face of wedding photography and cinematography. Is WedRed. Shubhangi Sinha caught up with the founder to find out how MSMEs can make a mark despite being in what is a highly competitive market. Take a look.
India is known for the Taj Mahal, spices, and then big fat Indian weddings. With enchanting ceremonies and heartwarming moments, each Indian wedding is poetry in motion. Capturing these fleeting moments is no easy feat. But the creative team at Mumbai-based Wedred has managed to redefine wedding photography and cinematography with Elan. Wedred is the brainchild of meticulous cinematographer Mridu Khosla, who tells us how she managed to build a niche within the frenzied Indian wedding market.
Talk to us about Wedred and what was the idea behind starting a company like this?
Well, honestly, it just started as a fun thing for us. My cousin was getting married in 2012 in Delhi, and he called me and he said, could you please cover this? And in 2010, I had started a creative agency called Zypher, and we had never done weddings because we were more into commercials and fashion work. So we just went there to attend the wedding and have some fun, and while we were there, we took our equipment and we decided that, okay, we'll do something cool for my cousin. The funny thing is, after we shot it and we put it up online, we just started getting calls. Like, people just wanted to hire us for covering their wedding, and this was not part of our deal. We never wanted to really do weddings, you know.
In the crowded landscape of the Indian wedding market, what is it that you think sets your company apart?
To be very honest, like, we never looked at weddings how maybe other people in the wedding industry look at it. For us, it is something of a very emotional element. We like to make films out of it. You know, we don't want to just cover a function for the sake of it. While there are a lot of these things that happen in functions, which is like pujas and the fairas and barats, we wanted to focus more on what happens before and after, because that's when you really see the togetherness of a family, you see what friends do. So we were more into the behind the scenes of capturing things. We wanted to constantly get involved in the couple's stories. And that's how it happened. Once we get a couple on board that we decide, okay, this is the one that we're going to go for, we do at least 2 months of pre-production, which entails things like asking them questions about their story, you know, what happened. Like, most of them have stories which go on for like literally 10 years. So gather all of that together, talk to the friends, the family who have been involved in the love story, do all that pre-production before we actually go to shoot.
What are the biggest challenges that you face as a company, and how do you overcome them?
The biggest challenge is obviously getting people out of that rhythm of conventional photography and cinematography. People still want a lot of that traditional way of doing things. For example, they do want us to shoot people having food and like people getting on the stage and taking those, you know, typical pictures. We don't do that. You know, we want to capture the other things, you know, which we feel are more vital to the story. And that's what we focus on, and that's what we communicate to our couples once they try to come on board. But we also make sure we talk to the parents, because at the end of it, in weddings, it's mostly the parents that are paying, so they need to have a better take on things. So a lot of times there's a beautiful you know, mix of everyone coming together and saying, no, we do want something different, and it works out.
Using only the best of equipment and software, Wedred creates customized wedding trailers, films and albums for their clients, ensuring they also capture the spirit of the wedding location.
We have done weddings in different destinations. A lot of times the destination also governs what kind of trend is kind of going to go on. Like a wedding in Jodhpur is going to have a totally different landscape and concept as compared to a wedding that's happening in Mauritius, which is more on the beachy side of things, you know. So I don't see major trends as such. It always comes down to what the couple is really aiming for.
For the size of weddings that you undertake, you have quite a small team. So how is it that you manage with such a team in the peak wedding season?
Well, that's an interesting question. We have done weddings which are very private, as small as 150 people, and we've done weddings which are huge, like 3,000 people. The team remains the same. It doesn't change. The scope of coverage is still the same. When you do a Sangeet, or you do a Mehndi, or you do a Haldi, or you do a Barat, it is still the same arena, you know, so you pretty much just need those people. We don't carry more than 3 to 4 photographers, not more than 4 cinematographers, 1 director, that's me. I also do cinematography, so depending on the pressure I take on the camera. And we always have a production manager on board who's there to do all the coordination, because that's one of the hardest things. Yeah, our team just never crosses more than 10 people, irrespective of the sizes.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs who want to start a wedding business. What is your advice that you would have to give them based on your experience?
do a lot of weddings. Don't think about money. Don't think about where you're going to go. Do at least 10 to 15 weddings just for experience. Every wedding is different. It's a challenge. More than anything else, what really makes a wedding difficult is the people, you know. So you need to know how to handle people. You need to know how to be able to deal with instant crisis. You cannot miss a moment. If there is a ring ceremony going on and that lasts for say 10 seconds, if your photographer or your cinematographer has missed it, it's missed that moment. So you have to be very proactive. You have to be very ready at all the times. You just have to get that experience, which means you need to shoot at least 10 to 15 weddings for free to kind of build that profile, you know, to kind of understand what is the logistics of all this space. Only then you'll be able to kind of build a module as such.
For all couples looking to make their wedding ceremonies timeless, Wedred offers umpteen possibilities of making a wedding film that looks as unique as the couple.
Completely out of time then on this wedding special, and we've brought you tips across the board from people involved in the wedding business. Do remember, if you have a company that wants to be featured on the show, you can write in to us at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT or call us on that number you see flashing on your screen. We promise to have all your queries answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.